Hi everyone, I wanted to share the results from my latest dream study. We attempted to re-enter a past dream, and it could be a repetitive dream or just a dream that you wanted to revisit. And so I have the pre-questionnaire, the results, and a few cool things that happened that I noticed. So I will share with you first the pre-questionnaire to give you an idea of where everybody was coming from before they started the dream study. So the first question I wanted to ask is, have you ever experienced a repetitive dream? And so 88% of the people said yes, and 11% said no. How often do you experience repetitive dreams? We had 42% monthly, 28% weekly, and 28% rarely. So that was really interesting to me that some people have repetitive dreams. And I myself, I have them, usually I'll have them like in a series, like I'll have a repetitive dream for a couple of weeks and then it'll go away for a while and come back. So I thought that that was probably pretty common then, that people have them maybe monthly at the most. And then it says, are these repetitive dreams identical each time, or do they vary slightly with each occurrence? And so most of the people had said that they slightly vary. So they know that's kind of the same dream, but there's something that's always changed a little bit. And again, that's the same for me. My dream was always progressive. It was the same green Victorian house, but I would progress within the house. So it was different because I was moving through the house. Have you noticed any specific triggers or patterns that lead to these repetitive dreams? 55% of the people said no, and 44% of the people said yes. And what triggers your repetitive dream? So basically, it was split evenly through all different things: stress, anxiety, grief, relationships, locations, unmet needs, big changes in life, medications. So it could be, from what I'm reading here, anything could trigger a repetitive dream. Do you want to visit a previous dream? 77% of the people said yes, and one person said, or some people said maybe. Have you woke up and then went back into a dream you just woke from? And so 88% of the people said yes. And so I wonder, have you yourself had that, where you wake up from a dream and it could be a nightmare or a good dream, and hopefully it's a good dream, and then you wake up for a second and you go right back into the dream. And when it's a good dream, those are always great. And when it's a nightmare, to prevent that, if you just sit up for a second and kind of change the position you're sleeping in, that should shift the dream, like wake you up enough that you're aware and you don't go back into the dream. So that's the trick for that. And I said, have you meditated and brought yourself to a dream state? 77% of the people said yes. Then there was a 11% no and 11% maybe. I really recommend, if you're trying to do this experiment yourself, and I will tell you how, that you do kind of practice by daydreaming and bringing yourself into a meditative state where you're kind of like you're not quite asleep, but you're daydreaming, but you're in control, so that it kind of starts to train your mind where you want to go and that you want to be in control. Okay. So I'm going to put in the video that I sent to all of them to do, give them a background of how to do the dream study. I'd also given them a worksheet so they could write out their dreams, because I wanted everybody to write out their dreams with a pen and paper. And I say why. So that's really important, that you have a physical, not your phone, but a physical writing. So you're visualizing and you're creating the letters. And there's a lot to when you're actually handwriting, whether it's journaling or anything, that's really powerful to use your paper and your pen or your pencil. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the video in here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my dream study. I'm really happy that you've all chosen to work on this with me. And I believe that we'll all get something out of it reviewing our dreams. I think that anytime you review a dream, there's always going to be information that helps us in our waking life. So, how are we going to do this and what are we trying to achieve? So ultimately, we kind of want to understand why we're having a repetitive dream, what its meaning is, maybe how we can have it evolve or go away. Also, for those who don't have repetitive dreams, or maybe that's not your focus, anyone who wants to go back to a dream, maybe to learn something new. An example would be a dream that I had not too long ago that was part of a repetitive dream is that at the end, I was sitting in a restaurant and across from me, a man sat down and he was telling me information that I need to know, and I can't remember. So for me, I want to go back and see if I can get back into the dream and talk to the man who is a symbol that I see often. So he does talk to me in other dreams and see if I can find out what he was trying to tell me. So, so what do you have to do? Every day you have to send me your dream. So ideally, you would get up in the morning, document your dream, and then send it to me. um, if you have anything go on during the day that seems to like be a synchronicity with your dream, add that, even if it's a separate email and it happened later in the day. You want to write your dreams out with a pen or pencil on paper. It needs to be a physical motion, not just on your phone, but physically write it out because you're going to be using each dream you have the night before to move forward. So then you want to set your intentions. So you need to decide what you're trying to accomplish, what dream you're trying to get back into. And I need to know about that dream so that I can see if I see any similarities from the dreams you're having that are getting you closer to this dream. And I've included a attachment in your email, and it's just a guide on different prompts to pull ideas out of your dreams. So an example is I have you write out your dream, I ask, is this your intended dream? Does it connect to your dream in some way? I'll give you different like colors. What's a dominant color? Animals that you saw, people that you saw, places that you were at, smells, etc. So look over the list, and it's just you don't have to fill everything out, but it's supposed to like prompt you to think about it and see if you remember anything new. Because a lot of times we write the dream out, the more we think about it and the more we write about it, we'll start to be like, oh wait, I remember something else, and then everything's important when you do that. So another thing is, and I'll skip ahead. I'll go through the list. I have sent you the list on what you need to do so that you can just reference the list. But I need to know what your starting point's going to be in your dream. So I need to know the dream that you're trying to get into and what part of the dream you want to start at. So you need to remember, and it has to be like a physical place, like a room. So like in the room that you were in, was it a living room? Were you standing next to a chair? Were you on the stairs in front of a house? Something like that. And that's something that you can visualize, because every night as you fall asleep, at least to start, we're going to start with being in that room and that being your last thought as you fall asleep, because I think that'll really help you re-enter your dream. So real quick, I'll go over the list. Like I said, I've sent it to you as an attachment, so you can just go through the list, as you go. But basically, you're going to send your dream that you want to re-enter, write out the dream on paper with pen or pencil, set the intention that you want to revisit the dream and learn more. Turn off all electronic devices at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. Having a TV or podcast on will make it much more difficult to connect. You don't want to have any sounds. The only thing you can have is like maybe like the rainforest or something like that. But again, say you're listening to the rainforest, but your dream was about the desert, that could really throw things off. So if you're used to listening to ocean sounds, but it has nothing to do with the ocean, I would not do that just for the dream experiment. But you got to do what works for you. Make sure you're hydrated. You want to be as healthy as you can be. So being hydrated is like a really big thing. You don't want to wake up thirsty. It will change how you kind of dream. If you have a bunch of problems during the day, and this is really important, you need to filter out all that stuff. So I suggested, if you had a really bad day, write it all out, kind of problem solve. If you can't problem solve, then you need to like make a note to yourself and write it out. I will address this tomorrow, say 5 p.m. or whatever it's going to be, and you're going to let it go for now so that you can focus only on the dream intention. Um, every day for the next 7 days, you have to send me your dream. If you don't have a dream, then just write me and say, I didn't have a dream at all. And then just write, how did you feel when you woke up? Were there any weird synchronicities or anything, any thoughts, like maybe you feel like you were, say, on a hot air balloon, but you're not sure? Go ahead and send that too. Drawing out your dreams is really helpful as well. It also helps when you read back over your dreams and you look at the picture, it will remind you really well of the dream. And then it's a study. So if this is an experiment to see what we will be able to do. Some of us may be really successful, some of us may be not, but I believe that with your dreams, we'll all learn something together. And so it'll be interesting. This is all anonymous. After this is over, if you want to share what happened for you, you totally can share what your experience was in the dream experiment. And then if you have any questions throughout, just email me. I'll be yours for the next 7 days in your dream world. So I'm excited about this, and good luck. So that was what they got for instructions. And like I said, I had it written out for them, and I had like a little journal sheet that they could use and make copies of, or just use as a prompt to write out what they experienced in their dream world. So I just wanted to kind of share with you the results, their post questionnaire of how they said it went for them. But there was a couple of things that happened throughout that I thought was really interesting. The first thing is that it seems like most of the people were able to connect back to their old dream, but mostly it changed. So it wasn't necessarily the repetitive dream. They entered that repetitive dream, but then it kind of went off and did its own thing. So it changed. It just was an entry point for them. So I was able to be sure that you can enter an old dream, but then once you do, where it goes from there is all up to your subconscious. So, and of course, I guess if you're a lucid dreamer, which I'm not, then you're able to navigate through that dream. But that wasn't the experiment that we were doing necessarily as lucid dreaming, just kind of as a suggestion that we want to re-enter this dream and see what the subconscious does to guide us through it. Okay, so 2 people in the study ended up really interpreting their own dreams, because through the 7 days, I was giving partial dream interpretations and kind of guiding them on what to do for the next night. I had 2 people that were so good at interpreting their own dreams. It like blew my mind. I think that they really took on the things that I had said, and they were just, out the door doing their own dream interpretation. So that was really cool. I loved seeing that. Another dreamer pointed out that they realized that they had several repetitive dreams. And I didn't realize that about myself either. But once he had said that, and I started like looking at the dreams I was recording, that I have places that I go to that are repetitive. It's not just 1 or 2 repetitive dreams. I have many. Like I have a shopping mall I always go to. I have a city that I'm always driving into, a museum that I visit. And I never realized that until he said it. It just like clicked for me. And I was like, yeah. So I thought that was really cool. So if you have repetitive dreams and you're writing things down, try to remember. And it's like, you don't remember until you start to think about it. But when I started to review my dream about the museum, and I realized, like visualized what it looked like when I walked up to it, I was like, this is the same place that I visit often. So look at your own dreams and see, are you going to that same location over and over, and you just weren't realizing it because each dream was like standing alone instead of like looking at all of them together? So that's something to think about there. Some people progressed through the week, and I feel like they started with their repetitive dream or the dream that they wanted to look deeper into. And I feel like they got the answer to maybe what the original dream was trying to tell them through a series of new dreams that started at that dream. So I thought that that was cool. So then you got some resolution to what the original dream was trying to tell you and work with you on. One thing that I really loved was that I had a dreamer. She had a dream where her father came to her in the dream, and he has already passed away. And he took her through a green door, and they had this whole beautiful experience. And so she wanted to go back to the green door and go with him again and visit with him again. And so she had all these different experiences, but when she was awake and she was thinking about the dream and talking about it, she realized that her father remembered that her father had green eyes. And so we both loved the connection of the fact that the green door and it was going to heaven, or where he was, his own personal heaven, the windows to the soul. So I thought I get chills just like thinking about that right now, because I think that that was a really beautiful thing. That was cool. And then another person had a precognitive dream where they had a dream about something, and then a couple of days later, it literally happened. And so I loved that too. That was like a little bonus that none of us were expecting. So that was cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you what they had to say about the dream study. I had a post study questionnaire, and so we'll see what they said. So the first question I had was, of course, did you re-enter an old dream? And most of the people had. Did you advance in a past dream? And 40% of the people said they did. Did you have a different repetitive dream than intended? 60% of the people said yes. Did you find you had more than one repetitive dream? And then 60% of the people said yes. Did you learn something new about yourself? And most of the people said yes. Will you continue to use this method to explore dream reentry? And 100% of the people said yes. So feel free to use this method as well. It's been 100% approved. Did this study help you with dream recall? 100% of the people said yes. Did this study help you enter an old dream? 60% of the people said yes. And then the rest of the people said partially. Did you write out every dream on paper? And so it's like 60% of the people said yes. Some of them said they did a little bit, and some said no. So that was part of the what they were supposed to be doing, was writing it out on paper. So I can't help but say that that probably had some kind of effect on maybe they weren't getting all the results that they could have. Did you visualize your intended dream before sleep? And most of the people said yes, but some of the people said not every time. So again, if you don't do it 100% of the time, then it may not work. Did you turn off the TV, phones, etc., at least 30 minutes before bed? And again, some of the people said yes, some of the people didn't. Did you use any dream enhancing products? Nobody used a dream enhancing product. The night you did not follow instructions, was it harder to connect to an old dream? And 60% of the people said no. And then the rest of the people said, I followed the instructions every night. And then, did you enjoy this study? Most important question to me. 100% said yes. So I thought that overall it was a really cool study. I really appreciate everybody who took the time, the 7 days, to send me their dreams and look deeper into their dream world. I thought that everybody made some kind of progress and certainly learned something new about themselves and dream interpretation. So if you have any questions about this study, go ahead and email me at info@thedreamsinterpreter.com. If you'd like to have a dream interpreted by me, my website is thedreamsinterpreter.com, and all the information is there on how to get a dream interpretation. I will do a dream study again in the future. I had a suggestion from a friend and I loved her idea. So I will keep you posted on that. And that's all I have for today. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.